Okay, welcome to our Tuesday team huddle. Last Tuesday of the month, I guess people are busy, and maybe people are like me thinking it's Monday. I thought it was Monday today. Anyway, not a lot of us on. Welcome, Cheryl. Maybe people will hop on in a minute, but I was going to do something just a little bit different today, which is kind of go over one of the webinar trainings that we had scheduled around the country. We had these scheduled in lots of different cities, and we were going to go around as health coaches and teach these principles. I love them. So because it's just me and Cheryl so far this morning, I'm going to just go ahead and let a couple of my dear friends teach a little. We'll watch this segment, a 10-minute segment, and we'll go from there. So this is really one of my favorite things from the Modify Your Mindset conferences that we were planning to do. I'm going to share my screen here, and it's just about 10 minutes long. So move me out of the way.
Hey, so the rules of your planet. Let's think about this for a minute. What are the rules on your planet? So we think that the world should show up in a certain way, right? When we wake up in the morning, we have an idea of how things should go, and we are attached to that a lot of times. And it's not that it's wrong or right, it's how you believe the world should be. So we're going to explore this a little bit. This is something really fun to think about. So on Planet Jenny, I was given my given name is Jennifer. But on Planet Jenny, everyone should call me Jenny. They should just know that my name is Jennifer. On Planet Jenny, when you see a garbage that is full in the house, you empty it immediately. On Planet Jenny, I shouldn't have to hear any chewing noises when someone is eating near me, even though that's pretty much impossible, right? But on my planet, and when I go to the store, there on Planet Jenny, when I go to the store, there should always be toilet paper available to purchase. So in the chat, I would love it if you would type in some things that on your planet that are important to you. Type those in. And Steph was going to share some of her planet stuff.
Oh my gosh. Well, you stole my first one, which was on Planet Steph. When the garbage is full, you just recognize that it's your job to take it out. And on Planet Steph, you also know if you take it out, you have to put a new liner inside the garbage can. It's twofold, right? I love these things. On Planet Steph, if you cook, you don't do the dishes. Never the two shall meet. What are some other words we're getting in the chat, Jenny?
Yeah, it says, although they're coming in so fast, piano students should always practice well and daily. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. On Planet Marcy, the toilet paper always has to be over the top and never replaced when, never replaced when empty and replaced when empty. Yeah, these are awesome. These are so good. You know, it's interesting because we all have these ideas of how the world should be. But what we're really going to explore with this next topic is, are those thoughts and those ideas serving us? Is it truly a fact? Can we be open and curious to maybe the opposite being true and exploring that? So a lot of the challenges that we have in our lives really stem from believing that something is right the way that we see it, and we want it to be right. And lot of our challenges stem from that. So we're going to explore how maybe we can be open and curious and change maybe some of those thoughts that we think are for sure the way it should be. So Steph is going to talk about that a little bit right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenny. That was so fun. I love this whole fact versus feeling because this was so new to me. You know, I'm not a spring chicken, but I really, this whole concept of a fact and a feeling being so different was such a new thing for me that it kind of blew my mind. And I love it because facts are something that can't be disputed. And a feeling, obviously, is something that we have in our heart. So I'm going to kind of give you guys some ways to figure out what causes a fact and what is a feeling. So first of all, I would like to talk to you about maybe a recurring issue that you want to shift. This is a really good thing to think about when we're doing fact versus feeling. What's something in your life that you want to shift? The first thing you could do is you could write down all the facts surrounding that issue. Now, a fact, if you don't know what it is, a fact is something that is unarguable. If a video camera recorded it, this is what they would pick up. That is a fact. It's black and white, it's reality. And I love this definition of fact also, is that it has no, a fact has never caused upset, right? Like a fact is a fact, okay? So write down all the facts related to the issue that you're thinking about. And then you can also create stories about a fact. Now, this is what a lot of us do, and we don't even recognize that we've done it yet because we have these feelings, right? So I love this. Facts have never caused upset before. So what usually happens is a fact changes into a story or becomes a story, which becomes a feeling. Now, I'm going to give you guys an example about this that just kind of happened organically between my brother and I. My brother is like one of my favorite people in the world, and we love to get together and complain to each other about like our genes. Who's ever complained about like, my family has big genes, or you've heard from your parents, you come from big stock. Like who's ever heard this before? Okay. So we had this belief that we had like the fat genes, right? And we had all these facts to back it up. But basically we usually talked in stories and feelings. And so one of the things we talked about is how much harder, so like in our mind, it was so much harder for us to lose weight than for other people. Who's ever told themselves this story? It's harder for me to lose weight than other people. Okay, it's good to kind of see where we're all at. Now, it was really hard for me to come up with a fact here. I like really had to think about it. So I thought that this could be a fact. When I was in 5th grade, I was a higher BMI than 90% of my classmates. That could be a fact. I would guess that was probably a fact. Now, I don't remember exactly how much I weighed and how tall I was, but I'm guessing if I could have done a survey, I could have made that into a fact. Now, so my brother and I used to do this whole thing. Amber, if you could go back to the other slide again now with the fact, story, feeling. So the fact was it was harder for us to lose weight than other people, which changed to this story. No, the next one. Yes, perfect. Which changed to a story, which was kind of like a pity party situation, which changed to a feeling of like, poor me. Like we have it harder than everybody else. And so my brother actually said to me the other day, you know what I realized? I realized something really cool. So you and I, because we might have an easier time gaining weight than other people, I also recognize that we might have an easier time gaining muscle than other people. Because he's noticed that a lot of people say to him, wow, how do you get such big muscles? And he's like, I'm doing the same thing and eating the same thing as a lot of other people. But I tend to put on muscle really easy. And I think it's because we can put on weight really easy. okay, so this is kind of interesting, right? And then he said, I think it's so cool that we have this gift of being able to put on muscle really easy. Like, so now whenever I think about our genetics, instead of thinking about the fact that we put on weight really easy, I've changed the story in my mind to how lucky we are that we can put on muscle so easy. So he kind of went back and he took this fact of us being able to gain weight or be a bigger BMI than other people, and he's changed the story behind it, which has changed his feeling about it. And now instead of feeling poor me, he's feeling lucky. Do you guys see how we can do that in our lives? And so, Amber, if you could move on to the next slide, slide 14. Here's some stories we tell. So there's always a story that comes from the facts, right? And I love this. So I'm an emotional eater. I know what I do, but I know what I should do, but I don't do it. I'm so dang busy. So these might feel like facts, right? A fact is I'm fat. A fact is I'm busy. A fact is I'm not good enough. A fact is I need to wait until things aren't so stressful before I start losing weight. A fact is if I go to a birthday party and I'm on a 5 and 1, I'll miss out on all the fun. What we're doing here is we're trying to present that you may be telling yourself a story instead of actually telling yourself a fact. And it's okay because we all do it, right? We all tell ourselves stories around facts, but it's so freeing to recognize that if you can speak in facts to yourself, you can actually go back and change the stories, which can change your feelings. And Jenny's going to talk.
Okay. So I hope you guys got to listen to that. That is one of my favorite all-time mindset pieces, is just we all have different rules to our planet. We all have different things that we think we should show up as, different ways that we think the world should show up as. And then we create stories based on what we believe to be true. And I love Steph's example of how all of her life she thought we just gain weight more and easier than other people do. And then when her brother kind of recognized that as a story that they were telling themselves, they were able to shift that and create a new story, which was, hey, because we believe we gain fat faster and easier than others, maybe we also gain muscle easier. Can you see how empowering that is to be able to stop, recognize your thoughts, and maybe shift it? Maybe just challenge that thinking that we have, because sometimes our brain is super powerful and it helps us reach our goals, and sometimes it puts a big stop on where we want to go. It's kind of that limbic system jumping in to save us by telling us a story and making us feel better. But we are powerful human beings, and we can create the stories we want that will serve us. So earlier this morning, I actually posted a picture from my friend Nicole, who is a client on her second week and rocking it, and just about positive affirmation. So I guess for this week, I would love to challenge you guys to think about a story that you have been telling yourself. You can also go the realm of, what are some of the rules on my planet, and are they rules that really need to be there? Like, can I just chill out and relax when the toilet paper doesn't go over the roll the right way? If it goes the other direction, probably the world's not going to end. So I just challenge you, I guess, to think of maybe some of the stories you've been telling yourselves. If they're serving you, awesome. If they are not serving you, switch that. And the way to do that, she described, is to write down all of the facts. So write down the facts and kind of rewrite that story, and the feelings that you get will help you to change. And Charlene and Julie, Jen, and Cheryl, thank you for hopping on. So we did this backwards this time. Usually we do win of the week at first, and then we talk about a topic. But because that was a long 10-minute segment, I just wanted to be able to watch that whole thing. Now I'm gonna open it up. Does any of you guys on have some comments, wins of the week, or maybe even just some of your planet rules or stories that you'd like to talk about? Love to hear.
I was just going to say, I loved what you were saying about Steph's story. And I think a word that helps me with that same concept is that we all have a perspective that we choose. And there could be one scenario and then all the stories around it or perspectives. And like, we are choosing one. Like, there are other ones we can totally choose. And that power of choice is so empowering. I totally messed up on parenting today. Made a stupid mistake. And I felt really bad. And my kid is super mad at me. And, you know, like, what if I just explore just for my brain piece? What if that was a good thing that I did instead of what if it was a bad? But like, also just like, anyway, there's just so many different perspectives to choose. So thanks for your work.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jen. Yeah. Okay, cool. Charlene, you unmuted, and Julie, like, who wants to go first? Hi, Amber.
Hi.
I'll go really quick. Were we talking about win? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, you can share wins. So the topic today was, we talked about the rules of our planet. I'll post it in Health Zone. You guys can watch it. It's just a 10-minute segment, one of my favorite all-time webinar things that we've ever done. Just talking about, we believe the world should show up a certain way. And does that serve us? And are we creating stories in our mind that create feelings that are negative? And if so, can we change that, and how? Watch the thing when we're done, but you can share a win of the week if that's what you were going to share, because that's
my, sorry, I interrupted.
Nope,
I saw your mouth.
That's all I said.
My story I'm telling myself is, holy cow, we are reopening in Utah Monday and at Kohl's. So I work at Kohl's and we are reopening and I am losing my mind. End of month, Optavia, want to be successful there. This is worse than my original grand opening because we've got all of this protective stuff going on and there's so much legal involved in what we can and can't do with the governors and the nation and our associates. And the story I'm telling myself is I'm too old, I can't keep up. I'm going to lose it. Somehow I'm going to be in trouble because I didn't do something right. There are 4 states in the nation that are Kohl's companies that are opening up, 4 states. And so we are like under the spotlight of doing it right. So I know I can do it. I've done it before. I know I have the skills and the ability to do it, but the story I'm telling myself is, holy cow, I'm going to fail. So yeah, it's crazy.
And part of that dealing with the different things going on is,
Hang on.
Don't feel it's all on you. Make sure your customers, your employees and stuff that you have in place, that you've told them what is to be done. That's if you've told them, liability then goes on them.
That's super true. A lot of times we need to shift that responsibility. Like, we feel like we're responsible for everything that goes on.
Tell a different story.
Same idea with like our children. Jen mentioned parenting, and sometimes we think we need to make sure our kids make all the right decisions. Reality is, we just need to relay the information that would be helpful and allow them to go forward and forge their way.
Yep.
Like, yeah. So Charlene, you were on for most of the webinar today. Do you have any comments or questions or a win of the week?
Oh my gosh. How powerful is that to realize the different stories you're telling and identify the ones that are great, that are beneficial to you, and what are the other stories that you're telling that are getting in your way? Because we all live in families, and we all know that especially our siblings, we all have the same experiences, but we tell very different stories, have very different perspectives about how we were raised or how that affected us. And you can see just within a little family group, the different stories that people tell about the same experiences. And how powerful is it to not just recognize the stories, but to go that step, to take and write down the facts, write them down, like she said, write down the facts of the story, and then look at it a different way, and look at it in the with the outlook of how can this story be changed to benefit me? What in the story can change? How powerful is that?
Yes, so awesome. Well, thank you so much. Amber, you'll have to hop on. You pretty much missed all of this little webinar. You'll have to hop on Health Zone. I'll post the link and you can watch it. It's just 10 minutes, but it's my
It
favorite.
is way worth watching.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Totally.
Because
worth it.
it applies to not just how you eat, but every aspect of your life.
Definitely. And it's fun. Like, it's fun to say, what do I believe in? And what is it? Like,
what stories am I telling?
am I telling myself? So thank you for hopping on. I'll end this Zoom. If anybody wants more, if you're curious about what coaching might look like, I just posted in Health Zone every Tuesday at 11:30. They have a community explorer where stories are shared, and it's really fun to hear the stories, especially if we're on our weight loss journey and we need a little inspiration of somebody who's gone before and done it. Sometimes we get to a point where it's like, can I really continue? Then hopping on those is really helpful, but also then towards the end or at some point they start sharing a little bit about what coaching looks like. So that's a good place to learn a little bit if you're just curious. So the link for that is in Health Zone. And I'm thinking we're probably going to start moving the time of these to 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time on Tuesdays. So anyway, I'll post about that too. But have a wonderful day, you guys.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.